Are we good?
I'm feeling great.
Okay, at least we're starting off on a good
maybe?
spot. You're in. We've done all the
All right,
little
great.
stuff.
Is that a little too loud, do you think, or how do you feel? All right. Oh, it can be even louder. I love that. I like to be loud. Yeah. All right. Well, I am very impressed with all of you, I have to say. And I have been traveling all around the country talking to primarily Tea Parties, 9/12 groups, property rights groups, people like yourselves who are the stewards of their land and their water. And I'm really impressed that you are so knowledgeable and that you're willing to be active, because this is no time to sit back and think that somebody else is going to do it for you, because we all have to be, it's, as I say, it's all hands on deck. So yes, I am a liberal Democrat, and I'm also pro-choice, pro-gay marriage. I am a lesbian. What else? I'm a feminist, anti-war, and as I say, the thing that gets them to throw tomatoes at me is I'm a native Californian. That's what. So of course, as Aaron said, I didn't check my brain at the door. So I do understand what's happening, and partly that is because I am a forensic commercial real estate appraiser. I make my living appraising property for eminent domain purposes, and primarily I work for a government agency. And I'm a researcher, and I also have to be prepared to go to court and testify. So everything I'm going to be talking about tonight is the truth. It's a fact. It's supportable. I have plenty of documentation and support for it, and I'm going to be showing that to you, as well as you can also get my book, and I hope you do get that. And a lot of it you already know, so that's great, because you can't hear this stuff too many times. The main thing that we want to know is that although I may be a liberal Democrat or whatever, and people say to me, how can you be a Democrat? And I say, well, you know, somebody's got to take back that party. So that party, the Democratic Party, has been hijacked. Yeah, that's right, and so has the Republican, and so has America. And that's what we need to do. It's a big job, but we're going to do it, and we're up to it. So you may, you know, as I said, I might be a liberal Democrat, you may not be, but the thing is, this is an American issue. It's an issue for all of us as Americans, and we need to work together. All this stuff about, I don't see anything wrong personally with pointing fingers at the government, but we don't need to do it at each other, because it just keeps us separated, and we don't want to be separated at this time. It's too late for that. So about 10 years ago, I saw that there was a planning revolution going on in our country. Specifically, I saw it in the San Francisco Bay Area, where I'm an appraiser. And I appraise, I don't do houses, I do big commercial properties, big industrial and big agricultural stuff. You know, office buildings, shopping centers, things like that. And I was going into to the planning departments of the 9 counties of the San Francisco Bay Area, and I was, you know, going in there because I wanted to be able to appraise people's property, to see what they could do with it, to value it, so that they could be fairly compensated by our government when our government was acquiring it by eminent domain. So I went into the counties, and I went into the cities, and I went to see what people could do with their properties, and I found out that there just wasn't much that they could do. There just wasn't much that people were able to do with their properties by right. And that was a big deal to me. That you had to either know somebody, or be connected to somebody, or pay a permit expediter, or go through years of hell in order, and pay a lot of money in order to use your property. And I did fight with the planning departments, and I have been thrown out of planning departments. I've been told not to come back. But you know what? We all have to stand up, especially those of us who are in a professional capacity, and say this is wrong. You are not there as a gatekeeper to stop people from using their property. You are there as a servant of the people if you're a government employee. So, I'm here to talk with you about what I call the biggest public relations scam in the history of the world. And it's more than that. It's a takeover. It's a big takeover. It's the agenda for the 21st century. It's sustainable development. It's Agenda 21. United Nations Agenda 21. They call it the agenda for the 21st century, Agenda 21. That's not my word for it. It's not Area 54. It's not Catch 22. It's the agenda for the 21st century. Coming from an international group. It's a global plan implemented locally. And that is its strength, and it's also its weakness. Because we are here locally. We are local. So this plan, it justifies and it enables the breakdown of our economy, and that is what you've seen. This is part of the plan. This is a vital element of United Nations Agenda 21. It's the redesign of your cities and your towns. You're seeing it now. You're going to see it even more. We're in a rural area. You're going to see yourself concentrated into the center of cities and eventually emptied out of any area that's considered to be rural or suburban and into a larger city. This is the plan. It's a loss of our industry, our agriculture, our food independence. Ultimately, it's the loss of our sovereignty as a free nation. This is the plan. This is the goal. So it's social engineering, and it's kind of, at this point, it's the acceptance of what I call the new poverty. It's the the sense that you're cool if you do without, if you live without, if you're giving it up, if you're reducing, if you're constraining yourself, if you're restricting, if you're drawing in. You are part of the new going forward. You notice how the word future doesn't exist anymore? It's just the going forward. That's what they think. So, it's not what is Agenda 21, it's what isn't Agenda 21. And you're going to look long and hard. This is not Agenda 21, right here. Right here and now. Thank you. I thank you for not being Agenda 21. I thank you. So, I want to talk to you for a minute about Senate Bill 1867 before I get into what I'm talking about, because this is United Nations Agenda 21. Senate Bill 1867 just got passed by your Senate. It is the, what do they call it? The National Defense Authorization Act. Isn't that right? Yeah, National Defense Authorization Act. It is the reauthorization. And they just decided that we're enemy combatants here in our country, right here in the homeland, as they call it, right here in the United States. It designates the world as the battlefield. And it gives the government the right to detain and murder United States citizens, right here. Senator Lindsey Graham said that. He didn't use the word murder, but he didn't have to. Without charge or trial, you will be held. And I'm not saying you can be held. I'm sorry to say it. It makes me almost want to cry to say it. But you will be held. And I hope you stand with me. I hope we can really stand together, because we will need to. And this is the resistance that we are part of. And I am proud to stand with you. And it does not matter to me. It does not matter to me. Thank you. It doesn't matter to me if you care if I'm gay. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if you care if Kay and I are married we've been together 20 years. It doesn't matter to me. This is irrelevant. These are the small things. We are talking about our freedom as Americans. And this is the biggest thing we'll ever do in our lives, is defend our country and our Constitution. So, you know, I want to talk to you about this because the days of the conspiracy theory are over with Agenda 21, right? You know, at first it was like, Agenda 21, boy, are you a nut. Can I go get some tinfoil for your hat? And I'm like, you know, maybe I ought to buy some stock in that tinfoil company, because there's an awful lot of hats we need to make out there. But the tinfoil hat thing is way over. Now it's not, oh, you're crazy if you think it's Agenda 21. It's, oh, that Agenda 21. Oh, that's okay. There's no problem there. You know, don't worry about it. It's not, it's a good thing. That's what you hear. It's, yeah, it's, oh, we didn't realize you meant that Agenda 21. Yeah, that's good. Well, I'll tell you what. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact. And you know it. And the green mask, as I call it, is off. And we're looking at what's behind it. What's behind it is Senate Bill 1867 and things like that, and plenty of stuff like that, like going to a city-county meeting, whatever, and you walk in there and they've got armed guards in there. They're wearing a handgun on their hip. And they're standing there like this. And they're looking at you in your own town. So no matter how small your town is, no matter how large your city, no matter how remote you think you are, in fact, the more remote you are, the more in danger you are, United Nations Agenda 21 is impacting you right now. And you know it. So I'm here to help you, and I think that you're already way over needing help, but I will assist you in recognizing what it looks like, and I think you have admirable assistance in that with Aaron and your group. Assisting you in seeing what it looks like, because it doesn't come called Agenda 21. They're very careful about that, they meaning your government and the various and sundry non-governmental organizations which partner with your government in public-private partnerships, along with the corporations that fund much of this. These groups hide purposely, and I know you know that. So I'm here to help you take a look at what's behind that green mask, because if you can't see it, if you can't identify it, if you can't recognize it and name it, you can't resist it. You can't fight it. And that's what this is about, because awareness is the first step in the resistance. So there's an overarching political philosophy. And I know if you've seen me do this, I have done this before, and it's a good visual, I think, for communitarianism. Because there's a political philosophy, there's a social and political philosophy behind Agenda 21, because they have to justify what they're doing to us. And they do it by saying that it's all for the common good, right? It's all for the common good. You can't just think about yourself. You're a selfish individualist. You can't be thinking about just yourself. How dare you think that water is yours under your land? That's selfish. How dare you think that you should be able to use your property the way that you want to use it? That is selfish. We have to think about what is for the common good. So when you think about that, we have a Constitution. It guarantees our unalienable rights, rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's right, the pursuit of happiness. Who knows what we identify that as being? We've got our life, our liberty, and our pursuit of happiness, and that was given to us by our Creator, right? We're born with that, not granted by an individual or government. But communitarianism, though, that's totally different. Those are the rights of the community. They may not be written down, they may not be identified by anyone in particular, in any particular time. They can be taken at any time, changed at any time, limited or restricted at any time. The rights of the community. The EU, The EU operates